Not every weed in your garden is the enemy. In fact, while some weeds are silent killers that choke your plants and ruin your soil, others are secret helpers working behind the scenes to make your garden healthier than ever. Today, we're uncovering the 4 worst weeds you should never ignore and the 4 surprising ones you should actually let grow if you want thriving soil. By the end, you'll see weeds in a completely different way. Coming in at number 4 is bindweed, and trust me, this one is every gardener's nightmare. At first, those little white or pink flowers might look pretty, but underneath, bindweed is a ruthless invader. It's earned the nickname creeping death for a reason. This weed slithers across the ground, twining itself around the stems of your vegetables and flowers, choking them until they can't grow anymore. The real problem lies underground. Bindweed's roots can stretch over 20 feet deep, breaking apart into tiny fragments that each have the power to sprout into a brand new plant. That means, even if you pull it out, one small piece left behind can restart the invasion all over again. On top of that, it drains vital nutrients and moisture from your soil, leaving your crops weak and struggling to survive. And here's the scary part. Once bindweed takes over, it can spread so aggressively that your garden feels like it's working against you. But as destructive as this one is, the next weed doesn't just strangle your plants, it battles them for resources in a way that leaves your soil completely exhausted. At number 3, we've got nutsedge, a weed that looks like regular grass at first glance, but it's way tougher and far more destructive. Gardeners often call it the imposter because it blends in, but once you know what you're looking at, you'll never mistake it again. Unlike normal grass, nutsedge grows faster, shoots up taller, and thrives even when conditions are harsh. Its secret weapon? Underground tubers, sometimes called nutlets. These tiny potato-like structures spread in every direction, making this weed nearly impossible to pull out by hand. Even if you think you've cleared it, dozens of hidden nutlets are waiting beneath the soil, ready to sprout all over again. What makes nutsedge especially dangerous is how aggressively it steals from your plants. It guzzles water and nutrients at a faster rate than most vegetables, leaving your crops starved. In fact, some gardeners say fighting nutsedge feels like fighting an enemy you can't even see, because it's waging war underground. And if you think that's bad, the next weed on this list doesn't just compete, it actually invites pests into your garden like it's rolling out a welcome mat. Sliding into number 2 is pigweed, and this one is a master of domination. It can grow several feet tall in no time, towering over your vegetables and casting them in heavy shade. When your plants don't get enough sunlight, they become weak, stunted, and far less productive. But pigweed's real danger is in how fast it multiplies. A single plant can produce tens of thousands of seeds in just one season, and those seeds can remain viable in the soil for years. That means once pigweed shows up, it isn't just a problem this summer, it's a long-term battle. To make matters worse, pigweed attracts troublemakers. Aphids, caterpillars, and other destructive pests are drawn to it, and once they're there, they don't just stick to pigweed, they move on to your vegetables too. It's like having a pest magnet right in the middle of your garden. And while pigweed creates chaos above ground, the final weed on this list can destroy your soil from deep below the surface, making it the most dangerous of them all. And finally, taking the number 1 spot is horsetail, a weed so ancient it's been around since the time of the dinosaurs. That alone tells you how tough and stubborn this plant really is. Horsetail doesn't just survive, it thrives, and once it takes root, it feels almost impossible to stop. Its roots run deep, spreading through a dense network of rhizomes several feet below the surface. Even if you pull up what's visible, the underground system stays alive and sends up new shoots. Horsetail loves wet, compacted soils, and instead of improving the ground, it slowly drains nutrients and raises acidity. What's most frustrating is its resistance. Herbicides that knock out other weeds barely touch horsetail, and the more you fight it, the more determined it seems to return. Left unchecked, it can turn healthy soil into a lifeless patch where your crops struggle year after year. But here's the twist. While these weeds are destructive, not every weed is out to ruin your garden. In fact, some can actually heal your soil and protect your plants. So let's flip the script and talk about the weeds you should welcome. Kicking off the list of helpful weeds at number 4 is clover. Most people see it as a nuisance scattered across their lawn, but in the garden, clover is a quiet workhorse. It's part of the legume family, which means it naturally fixes nitrogen into the soil, a nutrient your plants desperately need to grow strong and healthy. Clover also acts like a living mulch. It covers bare soil, locks in moisture, and keeps the ground cooler on hot summer days. That not only helps your vegetables, but also keeps weeds like bindweed and pigweed from finding space to grow. As a bonus, clover's little flowers are magnets for pollinators like bees, giving your garden a boost in pollination and harvest. So while many people rush to rip it out, letting clover stay can save you fertilizer, improve your soil, and even protect your plants. And it's not the only misunderstood weed, because the next one on our list is hiding in plain sight with a root system that heals compacted soil from the inside out. Coming in at number 3 is the dandelion. Yes, the same weed most people can't wait to dig up, but dandelions are actually one of the best natural tools for soil health. Their deep taproot acts like a drill, breaking through compacted soil that other plants can't penetrate. This allows air and water to move deeper into the ground, creating better growing conditions for your vegetables. But that's not all. As the root reaches down, it pulls up important nutrients like calcium and potassium from the subsoil and brings them closer to the surface, where your crops can use them. And if you let dandelions flower, they become an early-season food source for pollinators when little else is blooming. So while many gardeners see them as trouble, keeping a few dandelions in your beds can actually work wonders for your soil. And if that surprises you, the next weed on this list will really change the way you look at so-called garden pests. At number 2, we've got chickweed, a plant that often sneaks into gardens quietly, but don't be too quick to pull it out. Chickweed acts like a natural ground cover, forming a green carpet that protects bare soil from drying out and eroding. Instead of competing with your crops, it actually shields them by keeping the soil cooler and retaining valuable moisture. On top of that, chickweed attracts beneficial insects. Ladybugs and pollinators love it, and in return they help keep pests under control and improve pollination in your garden. It's also tender and shallow-rooted, so it doesn't hog nutrients or water the way problem weeds do. So while it might look like a nuisance, chickweed is more of a bodyguard for your soil and plants. But the number 1 weed you should welcome isn't just protective, it's a healer that can pull toxins out of the ground and completely restore balance to your garden. And finally, taking the top spot is plantain, not the banana-like fruit, but the humble green weed you've probably stepped on 1,000 times without even noticing. This plant is one of nature's greatest soil healers. Its strong root system pulls up compacted dirt, prevents erosion, and even draws out toxins and heavy metals from the soil, helping restore balance underground. Plantain also feeds the microscopic life in your garden by encouraging microbial activity, which is the key to fertile, living soil. And just like clover, it offers small nectar-rich flowers that attract pollinators, quietly supporting your entire garden ecosystem. Many gardeners even call plantain a first-aid plant because of its healing properties for both people and soil. So instead of ripping it out, letting it grow can give your garden resilience you can't buy in a bag of fertilizer. Now that we've covered the good and the bad, let's wrap it up with the key takeaway every gardener should remember. So there you have it, the 4 worst weeds that silently wreck your soil, and the 4 surprising ones that can actually make your garden stronger. The real secret is knowing the difference. Instead of declaring war on every weed, treat your garden like an ecosystem. Some plants are destroyers, but others are natural partners that save you work, improve soil health, and even boost your harvest. If you found these tips eye-opening, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more gardening secrets. And I'd love to hear from you, what weed in today's list surprised you the most? Drop your answer in the comments, and let's see which side you're on, the never again weeds or the secret helper weeds.